friends, welcome back to my kitchen. It is Sunday today and I'm doing somewhat of a food prep day, so I thought I would bring you along. First thing, like you've already seen, is I have been making some egg bites. There. This is a recipe that I have not done in a really long time, but I did do a video on it way back in the day when we were in our old house. And if you go back and look at that video, you'll see little bitty Renee, I think little bitty Charity is in there. So that's kind of fun to look back on. But it's one of those recipes that is incidentally keto. And it, of course, became popular because of the Starbucks sous vide egg bites, and the Instant Pot version was supposed to be a knockoff of that. So anyways, I haven't made them in a long time, but I had some ricotta cheese that really needed to be used up. The recipe calls for cottage cheese, but ricotta works as well. So I used the ricotta cheese, and then I also had some bacon that I cooked yesterday that I was able to throw in there, and some leftover ham. So ham, bacon, cheese, egg bites, and I'm making a whole bunch. I've gotten 2 batches so far. I can do 2 of the silicone molds worth in each batch. So I've made 4 pans worth, and 1 more is in the Instant Pot right now. So that's what, let's see, there's, how many are in each? 3, 6, 7, 14, 28, 35. Is that right? 35 egg bites. Anyways, I am going to keep some in the fridge for eating throughout the week. And I also thought I would pull out my food saver and individually vacuum pack probably just two egg bites at a time. They're super rich because they have a lot of cheese and egg and cream. They even have heavy cream in there. So they're like super rich. So I'll put 2 egg bites in each vacuum pack, and then I can freeze those. So that'll be a really quick, easy breakfast to pull out whenever I need them. So that is on the agenda to get that finished. I'm letting them cool, of course, before I try to package any up. And then I don't know what else. I haven't planned out the rest of my cooking for today, but I'm going to be looking through the freezer and thinking through what we have that needs to be used up, and we will go from there. I also need to show you this bread that I made yesterday. I was attempting to do a recipe, a bread recipe that was just eggs, salt, and butter, and see if I could just come up with something super simple. I get a lot of comments. Oftentimes they're actually very rude, so I didn't do this for those rude people, but for people that just want a simpler egg bread recipe, that's who I made it for. Sometimes I'll get really rude comments that are like treat me like I'm stupid for using egg powder when you could just use real eggs. And I'm like, have you ever tried to make egg white bread with just real eggs? It's not as easy as it looks. But anyways, now that I have my condensed egg white method, I used cartoned egg whites because I didn't want to be left with more egg yolks to deal with. I just did a video on using up 6 dozen egg yolks, and that was a lot, and we are not ready for more yet. So I used cartoned egg whites, and I condensed them. They actually condensed faster than the fresh egg whites, which was interesting. But then this is the result I got with the recipe. And so I don't know if it shrunk so badly because it was cartoned egg whites, or because this didn't have any allulose in it, or because it didn't have any cream of tartar in it. I was trying to just do eggs, butter, salt. I thought that would be really nice to have a recipe that was that simple. But alas, it needs some work. So not sure. It was probably a combination of everything that caused this monstrosity. But this part of it, actually, the texture is really nice. It's really soft and really airy. I brushed it with butter as it was cooking, so the crust actually tastes really good. I got a little bit of browning on it, even though there's no allulose in it. But overall, it still needs some work because this part is not very pleasant. So anyways, that is an experiment loaf. As you can see, I don't have perfect results every time I try to bake a loaf of bread. Sometimes they turn out like this. So you can see on my egg bites, my first batch kind of got a little stuck to the pan. The recipe says you don't need to spray the silicone pans. Oh, my other one is done. You don't have to spray the silicone pans, but I would recommend going ahead and still spraying them because this is what the second batch looked like. It worked a whole lot better. These are pretty close to perfect. So I do recommend spraying the silicone pans. Also, the recipe is fairly old as far as Instant Pot recipes go, and it's back from the time when all Instant Pots, their steam setting was also a pressure cook setting. And Instant Pot in the last few years has changed that on some of their newer models. So if you have a newer, well, just if any Instant Pot, don't use the steam setting, use the pressure cook setting just to avoid any issues. If you try to use the steam setting on a newer model Instant Pot, your egg bites won't cook well because it's not a pressure cook setting. They'll need to cook a whole lot longer. So I recommend if you try this recipe, don't follow it and use the steam setting. Go ahead and just use pressure cook high. Another food prep process that has become important in my kitchen is shredding up frozen butter, which is weird, but you guys understand. I was completely out, so I'm going to go ahead and just shred up my whole pound of butter here, and that will hold me for a little while. Okay, that is all done. I'm going to throw the lid on and put this in the freezer to wait till I need it. Okay, just did the first one and that worked pretty well. So I'm going to just take the nicest looking egg whites and get them all ready for the freezer. Okay, those are all done. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 packs. And it'll be easy to like grab 2 or 3 packs out of the freezer, throw them in the fridge, let them defrost, and since they're vacuum packed, they won't go bad very fast. So they'll keep in the fridge for a long time too. So this will be some easy breakfasts. So I decided I want to try to make some egg rolls for dinner, and I've done this before with my egg white wraps. They air fry pretty well and they fry in the pan pretty well. So I'm going to make up some egg white wraps. I'm doing the ones with that are made with the egg white powder that are like egg life wraps. Again, because I don't want to have leftover egg yolks again, and I don't have any more cartoned egg whites. So I'm going to make the ones with egg white powder. And then I am going to make some egg roll filling with some ground pork and some cabbage and spices and such. I found a recipe on Pinterest that I'm going to use kind of as my base as far as like the seasoning and stuff going into the egg roll filling. So I'll link that down on the cards and let you know the modifications that I make, and then of course, if it turns out well or not. Okay, so the ingredients for the egg white wraps are water, gelatin, and egg white powder. I do have a recipe. I'm doing 4 times the base recipe, and I forget how many that makes altogether, but we will see. All right, so 4 times 40 grams of gelatin, which is 4 tablespoons. Gonna let that bloom for a minute. So I put about 60 grams of the egg white powder in there. I may actually add a little bit more water because I want these to be kind of thin. My egg life wrap recipe kind of is a little thicker, kind of like a tortilla, and I want it to be super thin like a crepe, so I might add a little bit more water depending on how my batter looks. All right, I'm adding a extra 1/4 cup of water. We'll see how that does. And this is my life when I'm cooking in the kitchen. He has to snuggle my feet. So anytime I like have to move around the kitchen, he gets up and follows me, and then he snuggles up at my feet again, which is the sweetest thing ever. Bubs, are you a sweet boy? Are you such a sweet boy? Yeah, you are. Oh, you heard some action too, huh? What do you need? What do you need? I think adding that extra water made these more likely to crack and rip. So I don't recommend that. They'll still work out, but next time I won't try that.
There you go.
Thank you.
Still. Oh, but I need to get. Okay, I'll use this. That way to make this snug little spot.
Come on, get all of it. So along with the ground pork, I have some cabbage to fry up. And then for the seasonings, I'm doing some minced ginger, some sesame oil, some tamari, which is a gluten-free soy sauce, and some garlic. So here's my egg roll filling. And obviously it is too much to fill just the 6 wrappers that I made. So some of it will be eaten as egg roll in a bowl, just as leftovers, which will be nice to have prepped. So I am going to attempt to fill some egg rolls, and I think I'm just gonna air fry them. I'll spray them with some avocado oil and air fry them until they're crispy. So I put these on for 8 minutes at 400 and then flipped them and did another 8 minutes. And I think I'm gonna call that good. They're pretty crisp. They probably won't stay super crisp as they cool, but they're crisp right now. There's what the inside looks like. It looks really good. It's just gonna burn my mouth off if I try to eat it right now. And I do need some kind of a dipping sauce. I may not have anything right now, but that would make it the best. Let's see how this is. See if it's still a little bit crispy. It's not as crispy as it was. It's just the way these things are. They don't keep their crisp forever when there's filling inside. You can actually make chips and things or crackers with them and they'll stay crispy. But when there's fillings, when it's like touching something that has liquid in it, then it loses its crisp. But that is so good. Oh, that's really, really good. Okay, highly recommended. Let me know if you have a favorite like Asian dipping sauce that's keto, because I don't have a good go-to for like different dipping sauces, because that's the only thing this needs, but it is delicious. Definitely recommend.